in your personal opinion, did you see Strikeforce closing shop as a good thing or a bad thing for you, and then overall in general for the MMA industry?
It's a great question. I think I'm a student of sports, and obviously more of a student of combat sports than I am just sports in general, but I pay attention to things that happen. And if you watch what was the WWF and turned into the WWE, their greatest growth curve, their exponential explosion in terms of growth happened when there was a WCW. So, and it wasn't, and no matter what Vince said publicly in the back rooms at his offices in Connecticut, he was going, this is awesome. Our audience share is growing and there's competition and it's getting us bigger and our valuation is larger and people are paying more attention to the sport. So I've got to think, I think from a competition perspective, if you've got at least two, it gives an option, especially when you've got two that are so different in terms of their format. You know, like we're pure sports competition, and they're a matchmaking format. And I'm not going to stand here and talk about why I think one is bad or one is good, but they're very distinct. It's not like we're doing what they're doing, and it sure isn't like they're doing what we're doing. So I think that, you know, that's a good dynamic to have in play. Is there room for a third, or would a third have made that more hyper-competitive? Hard to tell. I mean, you know, I knew just based on watching history, when the acquisition happened to Pride, I was like, I used to love watching Pride, but they're done. Yeah. And when and you could see those acquisitions occurring, and you could tell, okay, the WEC is ultimately going to be shut down, and they're going to take some of the most charismatic stars and build them into the OC. So I don't know. I mean, I think two is a good number, but if another one shows up and they've got great product and they've got good support from television, I don't know that that's going to be a bad thing either. The other thing it does, I don't mean to go like too deep into this, but the other thing that it does is 3 or 4 years ago, when there were so many players in the space that had television deals and Versus was in play and all these different players and CBS had shows, etc., what you had is a developmental process at the lower levels from a gym perspective where guys could look at it and go, well, I could go to Elite XC or the WEC or Strikeforce. There's this Bellator group coming up on Deportes, and there's always a UFC, and there were a lot of options. So what it did is it caused world-class wrestlers coming out of Olympic trials or the national championships and the NCAAs going, this is my career path. That's gotten smaller. So you don't have that same kind of real breadth of potential stars coming up that we did 3 years ago when guys could look at it and go, man, I got option after option. So I think that optionality actually helps the sport. I think it gives us more of a pool to pull from of young fighters who go, hey, I don't have to work selling shoes or work construction or utilize my psychology degree or whatever it is, and they can just fight. And that's going to give rise to a faster evolution of the game.